complex mortgage world, finding the right direction can be challenging. That's where Lighthouse Advisors comes in. With over 25 years of experience, we provide fractional leadership and executive oversight, guiding companies through transitions, growth, and innovation. From IMBs to brokers to credit unions to tech firms, our team of seasoned professionals is here to shine a light on solutions, ensuring your business thrives in every environment. At Lighthouse Advisors, we don't just guide, we empower. Together, let's create a ripple of success across the industry. Email us today at laura@lighthouseadvisors.com. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Illuminating Solutions, the podcast where we shine a light on the challenges and opportunities of the mortgage industry. Today, and of course, we always want to also offer real solutions that help you grow and thrive. I'm your host, Laura Brandeo, the CEO of Lighthouse Advisors, and today we are joined by the incredible Celline Iglesias. She is our recruiting operations superstar at Lighthouse Advisors, and we are so excited to have her here with us today. Celline, welcome.
Thank you, Laura, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, we're going to jump right in, Celline. So, you have built a reputation for finding and developing top talent. We want to know, what key qualities or traits do you look for when recruiting operations superstars? And how do you identify those traits during the hiring process?
I think, Laura, that is extremely important to understand your client at that moment, which is my talent, right? What it is that they're looking for, what they desire, right, on that employment that they're seeking. I look a lot at personality, right? And then how does that match into the skill set that we're looking for? And then depends on what our client, the employer, is looking for as well. So I have to take into consideration both, right? The desire of my client, and then is this talent the right fit for that, right? And I think that once I have a deep look into that, and I have to ask certain questions, right? Yeah. There's only so much that you could see from seeing a person, but when you start asking the right question, right, intrinsic to that talent, then that tells us exactly what we need to know.
So do you have a set of questions, or does it really vary depending on?
It depends, right? It depends on what we're looking for, because if we're looking for maybe a sales staff, they have to be outgoing, they have to be able to identify rejection, right? And then overcome it. If it's operational, you want that person to like what they do about pushing a file, or depending on the position that they're going to fill. But then you don't want that person to have that sale mentality, right? Because you want them to be a little bit more operational. This is the kind of person that wants to see this task completed, right? Kind of that A personality. They want to have things done now. I always say, if I have to tell the person to help me carry this brick, then they shouldn't be part of my team, kind of thing. And I think that operational, you have to have that kind of people, the one that they don't get discomfort. They really want to push through, and they want to see that task get done. And then you have to see the difference, right, between the operational staff and the sales staff. Like, the personalities have to be different. And I love to use personality tests too, like this assessment that tells me a lot. If we're building a team, we have to identify what makes that team great. Everybody has to bring something different. We can't have the same people, right? It's not going to work. But I take a look into that and then see if that's a good fit for what we're looking for.
I love that. And I agree. Understanding someone's personality and building a team together that kind of all melds nicely to have your strengths and weaknesses, so to speak, that's ideal. So appreciate that. Okay. So Celline, what are some strategies that you found effective in not only recruiting, but of course, retaining high performing operations professionals? Because of course, it's great to bring in new, but what are some strategies in terms of making sure that they stay with the company and they're growing at all times and kind of being their best selves?
Laura, I would tell you communication is the biggest one. I have to know what's going on before that talent gets there and while that talent is there, right? Because we don't know what we don't know unless they let us know, right?
Right.
So I want that person to be open, to not feel that if they come and tell me something that's going to affect their opportunity with the employer. On the contrary, we want to know because then the opportunity could be a little bit more better for that talent. And then I have some feedback for the employer. It might be some stuff that they're not happening because they don't know it needs to happen, right?
Yeah.
And that feedback for us is extremely important so that we could tailor to both needs, the need of the talent and the need of the agency needing that talent.
Yeah. And you nailed it. That communication, I have a saying that you can never over communicate with someone,
No.
but yet, and it solves so many things just in having that communication. And it's fun. I was just having this conversation with someone today where somebody, a client was saying that all this work was being done, right? Like a team was saying all this work was being done. And I use the analogy of the same as actually doing a file in the mortgage business, right? Where if a client calls and says, I haven't heard from anyone in a week and I have no idea what's happening. And then the operations person says, but look, I did all these things. It doesn't matter that they did all the things because if the client feels that no one's communicating and they don't know what's happening, it might as well nothing had been done. So I love that you use that example of the communication because it really does solve so much of just understanding what's happening, understanding what someone's thinking, being able to bridge that gap together. And it's so, so valuable. So thank you for that. That really, really is vital to every relationship.
It is important. And let me tell you this example.
Yeah.
This happened to me recently. I had a talent, right, park with a team. And then let me go back. I have a team, right, that is servicing this particular client. When I'm meeting with one of the team members, right, the first one-on-one call that I had with her, she was in tears. Like that was her hello to me, right? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, like there's something going on in here because she wanted to just quit at that moment. And then I started asking her a question, why was she feeling that way? And then she was telling me her story. I identified through that she has been placed in the wrong team. She was very green into the industry and she was part with a builder account, right? And builders are built different. It's not that they're bad. They have a sense of urgency that normally, in the industry, retail, refinances, purchases, maybe it's a little bit different when you're working with a builder, right? And the team has to understand that it is not personal. It's nothing about you particular. You just have to service the client the way they want to be served. So I asked the person, listen, would you give me an opportunity to just change a few things and show you that you don't have to go, right? If she wanted to leave, I wasn't gonna stop her, but I want her to see the beauty of this industry. The mortgage industry is extremely lucrative, right? When you're working with the right staff, with the right partners, and then you want to give yourself the opportunity to learn. The more you learn, the better you will be at your job. So I told her, listen, give me a few days. Let me make some move. And then within 30 days, you tell me if you want to stay, then I'll definitely keep you in the new team. If you want to go, I'll give you the best recommendation letter you could have, and you could use me as a reference. I would tell you we did the change. I put her in a team that I knew her skill set at that time was going to be able to service the team, and she was going to learn in the process. And it worked. Sometimes people are frustrated because they're placed in the wrong position. It doesn't mean that they don't, it doesn't mean they're bad. It means that they are in a place that they're not being efficient, right? So we have to look at if there's a gap in education, are they the right fit? And then we do changes, but it is important to identify those things. Had she not tell me how she was feeling, I would have never been able to make that change so that she felt that the company had her best interest at heart, right? And then we get the key people involved so that they understand why this person might not be getting to the matrix they needed to meet, right? We look at KPIs and all of that, but then we have to go to the bottom of the situation, right? And again, it's communication. If people are transparent, the way they feel, what's going on, then management is able to step in. But if they don't, then they can feel guilty about feeling a certain way, right?
And that's the thing, is that person, kudos to that person for speaking up, because so many times people will just leave. People will just go away, and they don't even give you the opportunity that person could be the absolute superstar. And they're just not in the right place at that moment. That doesn't mean that down the road, maybe that is the right place, but maybe not at that particular moment. So that communication foundation is so important. That's for sure. Okay. So Celline, for companies looking to build a strong operations team, how important is it to create a positive and supportive work culture? And this kind of ties right back to the story you told, right? What role does that company culture play in attracting and, of course, keeping your top level talent?
It is extremely important. Things in the mortgage industry could get very stressful very fast. So you have to identify the key people, right? That not only have the knowledge, but have the backbone to be able to sustain that they don't crumble under pressure, right? That they understand that this has to be done. Communication is the upfront. I always tell people you have to be very factual. Remove your feelings out of the way and go straight to the task. It is very easy. If there's something coming on board that is gonna create a problem, raise your hand, let them know why. Again, if I don't know, I can't fix it. And then we can wait until after the fact, after things get, ugly, to then come and raise the flag and say, hey, we needed help here. I think that sometimes we talk about life-work balance, but to me, it's life-work integration, right? How can I do both at the same time without compromising one for the other? And then the company has to also understand that too. So that's why it's extremely important to understand what the agent or the client is needing, and then combine them with the right talent and the staff that's going to be able to produce what they actually need. Again, communication is something that we have to identify upfront so that then we're able to be successful to be able to place that person.
Agree. And listen, I mean, I have found in the world as humans, take mortgage out of it, as humans, we all want to feel that we're heard, that we're seen, and that we're part of something. So every human and every organization out there, in order for us to retain top level talent and to be able to attract top level talent, you have to make sure that people feel part of something and that they're seen and heard and supported and valued and appreciated and all of those things. And it's possible to do all of those things, right? But communication is definitely one of it, and that support of training and uplifting and opportunities and putting them in the right seat, and really lifting them up. All of these things are more than possible. You just have to take your time to check that out. And that's why for everyone listening to this, Celline has the magic wand of being out there to help get those superstars within the operational departments. So if you need help, if you are looking to find those superstars, Celline is here to learn about you. And we understand that every single company has your own uniqueness of what you're looking for and who you're looking for and what skill set you're looking for. And Celline will get to know you, get to know what your needs are, understand your culture to make sure that it's the right fit on both sides. So let Celline help you to be able to get that A team that is going to take you to the highest level. So reach out to us today at discovery@lighthouseadvisors.com. Ask for Celline, and she will be right there with you, jumping on a call and understanding your needs so that she can help. Celline, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you for having me.